The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
It's a Monday night and welcome to The Factor Uncensored. A lawsuit filed by employees of Houston Methodist Hospital who refused to get their mandatory COVID-19 vaccine has been thrown out by a federal judge. 117 employees of the system sued to overturn the requirement and are currently suspended. They have until the 21st to get vaccinated or get kicked to the curb with their jobs. But they join us here on The Factor to say this fight isn't over. And joining us now here on The Factor Uncensored are some of the nurses involved in this walkout at Methodist Hospital. We have Sarah Pica and also Jennifer Bridges. Glad to have you here both on The Factor Uncensored. So what do you do now, Jennifer? What's the next step now that the judge, federal judge Lynn Hughes, has ruled against you guys?
Well, we kind of expected this at this stage, but we are definitely filing our appeal in the next day or two, and we're going to take it up to the Fifth Circuit District, and it will be going up all the way, most likely to the Supreme Court.
And Sarah, can you guys afford to go without working? How long are you willing to go this route?
For me, I feel like there's never the wrong time to do the right thing, so I think we'll take it as far as we need to go. But to be honest, we are people that, we work hourly, we work because we need to, not just because we want to. And so it does take a strain. It affects not only the employees themselves, but their families. I have 5 children at home and a husband, so it affects not only myself, but my entire family. But thankfully, I have this backing and the support of my entire family behind this. We're all very passionate about it, and we'll take it as far as we need to go.
Jennifer, what is your biggest concern when it comes to the vaccines that are out there, why you won't take the vaccine?
Originally, it was just needing more research, but now we've seen in the hospital between all the patients and the employees that have gotten it, just the severe adverse reactions that people are coming down with now. Everything from blood clots to miscarriages to paralysis to death, hemorrhaging, the list goes on. So that is too many risks for me to possibly take, especially when I don't really need it. I've already had COVID. So there's no reason I need this vaccine. That research has already been proven, and there's zero long-term evidence. So not just the short-term potential adverse reactions, but the long-term is not even known yet.
When you look at some of the problems that you have just brought up, has there been enough time to attribute that to the vaccines, or is it to bolster your case?
No. It definitely needs to be looked at, because anybody giving out a new medication like that in this shot, it should be looked at within the first week after injection. Are there any side effects, adverse reactions, anything happening to these people? And most of these people are very healthy, like no comorbidities. So there's nothing in the books that would explain why these are happening except the shot. So to dismiss it is just being negligent. I mean, they have to take this all into consideration.
Sarah, is there enough proof to tie these illnesses that Jennifer just brought up to this vaccine?
I believe so. I'm a strong believer in the fact that with research, there's oftentimes, which is what we're doing right now, is continuing the research of this new product, which is the vaccine. And it really should be looked at on a frequent basis, a routine basis. Participants should receive a vaccine and in a certain amount of time come back to be reevaluated and have the same standardization for each and every recipient, and that's just not happening. And the fact that there are numerous serious side effects that are happening that seem to appear to be brushed under the carpet is concerning. And it's even more concerning when we look at the amount of deaths that have occurred over and over, and it seems that we keep hearing that it's safe, they're proven to be effective, they're safe, yet we really haven't proven much of anything. We're still very much in that research phase. We've jumped ahead several levels of what we would have been in years past with previous vaccines, and I believe we still need to be just as diligent today as we would have been 5, 10, 15 years ago with similar vaccines.
Jennifer, is there any regret by you guys, and of course you don't actually write the lawsuit, so I don't know who said this, it could have been your attorney, but is there any regret tying of the vaccine or comparing the vaccine to Nazi Germany? The federal judge in the case says that was reprehensible that you guys compared the vaccine to Nazi Germany and extermination camps. Any regret whatsoever in putting that in the lawsuit? And like I said, obviously your attorney will write the lawsuit. I'm not sure where that came from.
No regret at all, actually. It goes against the Nuremberg Code that was put into play to stop things like this from happening again. Of course, we're not comparing this to the actual Holocaust. That is so much bigger. But this is comparable to what they did to people back then without giving the proper consent, without asking permission, without telling them the risk factors. They did surgeries, procedures, medications, injections, without these people being able to know what was going on with it. So it is exactly comparable to that because nobody's getting the proper informed consent when it comes to this shot. So nobody knows the risk factors involved, nothing. They're just blindly being led into it, saying that it's perfectly safe, which it is not.
Sarah, for those who say that because of your refusal as a medical professional, not to take the vaccine, that you're doing public damage and causing others not to take the vaccine. Your thoughts on that?
I speak for myself and myself only. I don't take responsibility for portraying or putting my thoughts or beliefs onto other people. I also know that during this pandemic, the height of the pandemic, I was following all recommendations, washing my hands, social distancing, wearing a mask, all the things that we could do to keep our patients safe. And from day one, we know that washing our hands is the #1 way to prevent any sort of infection or spread of any disease is hand hygiene. And so I am doing that. I don't believe that by choosing to not receive a vaccine that I am putting anybody else at risk, because if you are vaccinated, it protects the person who receives the vaccine. If I choose not to receive a vaccine, then I would be the one who could potentially be exposing myself and causing myself harm, no one else. So to say that we're vaccinating ourselves to protect our patients really is not the case.